Hi, Chukila. Hi, Chuyingla.
Hello, Donna.
So nice to have you with us.
Thank you. It's very nice to be here.
I like your light offerings.
Thank you. An image from the Copan Nunnery.
Ah, wonderful. Hi, Elise. Hi, David. Hi, Yeshua. Hey, Patrick. Yeshua, hope I got your name right. Good.
It's 7 o'clock, so I guess we should get started. If you've never joined us before, what we're doing is we're just reading the text, the essence of the vast profound, before Geshe arrives. And if you have the hard copy book, we're on page 176. And if you have the Kindle edition, we're on page 186. Thank you, Domasi. Okay. So before we start, we should, of course, set our motivation for doing the practice today. And how fortunate we are that, first of all, we have a perfectly qualified Mahayana Versh's teacher, Wampa Geshe, who speaks English and very well and can interpret the teachings for us in a manner that is most skillful for us to learn. Of course, everyone on the prayer list, world peace to eliminate the COVID-19 virus and all its strains and mutations and all other diseases. And so all sentient beings may have every happiness and joy, physical and mental pliancy, live with happy, supportive family, community, country, nation, world system, universe. With all their actions of body, speech, and mind, full of loving kindness, compassion, great compassion, bodhicitta. May all sentient beings realize emptiness in and out of meditative equipoise. May liberate themselves from samsara and quickly attain full enlightenment, hearing all the teachings of the Buddhas who are teaching in the Pure Lands directly as their main disciple, and remain in the Pure Lands until they attain their own full enlightenment. So now I'm going to share the screen. We're having a abbreviated formulary of prayers. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By the merit I create the listening to the Dharma, may I become a Buddha in order to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. To the Buddha, the Dharma, the Supreme Assembly. By the merit I create the listening to the Dharma, may I become a Buddha in order to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. To the Buddha, the Dharma, the Supreme Assembly. By the merit I create the listening to the Dharma, may I become a Buddha in order to benefit all sentient beings. This ground anointed with perfumes, strewn with flowers, going with Mount Meru, 4 continents, the sun and the moon. I imagine this is the Buddha field and offer it. May all living beings enjoy this pure land. O holy and perfect pure Lama from the clouds of compassion, that form in the skies of your Dharmakaya wisdom, please release the rain of vast and profound Dharma, precisely in accordance with the needs of those to be trained. Idam Guru Ratamandalakam Niryatayami. Okay. So I'm going to start reading the text. So on page 176, we're going to start, or 186 in Kindle, we're going to start on the section titled, All Your Realizations of the Ground and Past Will Continuously Increase. If your reliance upon your spiritual guide is proper and good, there will be no difficulty in developing your realizations of the grounds and paths as well. Indeed, your realizations of the grounds and paths will develop and increase. Atisha's disciples, Ame, Jiangchu Rinchen, and Palden Gompawa, compared their realizations whereby Palden, Gompawa, and Ame had attained high realizations. When Atisha reached an advanced age, Dontopa was scooping up Atisha's feces with his bare hands when he suddenly developed clairvoyance. They could read the minds of others and know the thoughts of creatures as small as ants at a distance so great it would take a vulture 18 days to reach. Jiayuwa Shirnu, 1075 to 1138, and Potang Lungpa were servants who served Geshe Chengawa. Jiayuwa always served Geshe Chengawa skillfully and proclaimed, quote, although the emanated encircling iron mounted in the mandala is established, if the teachings of the Holy Guru come from the instructions of previous holy beings, you will receive benefit, even if each letter is only partially written, unquote. When writing the top section, it is as if each letter is an oral prophecy from the speech of the Guru, and even if you don't have time to write the middle part of the letter, it seems as though it is finished. One day, Jiayuwa Shirnu was carrying out an order and went to the place where you throw the garbage in the trash. And once his feet touched the third step in the flight of stairs, he developed extraordinary realizations. You will not be deprived of spiritual guides in all your lives. Although you may perceive your personal teacher as nothing more than a depraved person, you should not have contempt for him or her. Instead, if you rely upon him properly, this will serve as a result corresponding to the cause, so that in a subsequent rebirth you will encounter lamas like Maitreya and Manjushri. The essence of Nectar Stages of the Past states, quote, the result corresponding to the cause of properly pleasing your guru in this life will transform into meeting supreme spiritual guides in all future lives and listening to the unmistaken holy dharma in its entirety, unquote. There are other teachings similar to those just mentioned. You will not fall into the lower rounds. Through your practice of properly relying upon the spiritual guide, the negative karma that it would cause your rebirth in the lower rounds will be purified without any remaining. Marpa also caused Milarepa great hardship 9 times, and when he did, Milarepa attained enlightenment without the remaining aggregates. This being the case, when you engage in properly relying upon the spiritual guide, it severs obstructions that you have created and its associated karma, which would have resulted in a subsequent experience of the lower rounds, is exhausted through a scolding or merely a dream. With respect to being scolded, this is being reprimanded by your personal teacher and so forth. Geshe Tolungpa did nothing but reprimand his student Lasoa, and when he did, Lasoa's own disciple Nyagmoa explained, this master is extremely angry with my guru and his disciples. At this, Lasoa stated, each time he acts that way toward me, It is just like receiving a blessing of haircut. Dogon Sangpa Gyare stated, quote, when I receive a beating, it is an empowerment bestowed. If I am going to receive a blessing, I receive it from that. A powerful rebuke is a wrathful mantra. Without my obstacles are dispelled, unquote. Although your guru may feel the need to look at you with a disapproving glance or slightly gloomy facial expression, due to his mind being either pleased or displeased, these are the means of purifying extremely virulent negativity. The Array of Stalks Sutra states, the bodhisattva who is perfectly cared for by the spiritual guide will not fall into the lower realms. Not only that, but you will also recall the guru at the moment of death, and if you make supplications, this is the very best of any transference of consciousness. The Tantra requested by Subahu proclaims, quote, if an ordinary being recalls just one word of the guru at the time of death, this becomes the supreme transference of consciousness practice. This being will actualize enlightenment. This Tantra is stating that through the kindness of the guru, you will not go to the lower realms, but will be reborn in a pure land and so forth, after which you will become enlightened. You will accomplish all temporary and ultimate aims. This was explained in the Avatamsaka Sutra, and J. Lama Tsongkhapa also stated, the foundation of all good qualities is the kind Lord. Having seen that proper reliance on him is the very root of the path, and the kind Lord is the root of all good qualities of mundane and supramundane virtue and excellence. And having seen that the root of corresponding excellent auspiciousness and of any excellent accumulations in this life and the next consists of striving in thought and deed to rely properly upon the holy spiritual guide who teaches the path. Do not forsake him even for the sake of your life, and delight him through offering your practice according to his teaching. In both India and Tibet, Atisha's enlightened actions were as vast as space, which also came from his proper reliance upon his 151 gurus such as Serengpa. Atisha's disciple, Dontopa Rinpoche, became the crown ornament of the Kadampas. Furthermore, by relying upon Lama Setsun from Kham during the day, Dontopa would take care of Setsun's consort's young daughter and serve as a stool for Setsun's consort when she milked the cows, fetched water, and so forth. At night, he would gird himself with 3 different types of weapons, such as an arrow, a sword, and a spear, and protect his Lama's cattle from enemies, bandits, and thieves. All at one time, he would carry a leather pouch of milk on his back, soften leather with his feet, spin wool with his hands, and so on. He relied upon Setsun from age 17 until he was 30 years old. Within Tibet, he carried out perfect reliance upon Atisha. Tukuton from Yarlin had nothing more than moderate reverence for Atisha. Dontopa Rinpoche said, let's depart to an area called Nyetang, that is a happy valley where flowers grow even in the winter, to which Atisha acceded. Inviting him to Nyetang was done through skillful means. Later, when Atisha said that there were no flowers in the wintertime, the teacher Dontopa emanated a garden of lotus flowers on his tongue, together with a miniature Atisha and drum, after which Atisha saw this emanation. The great Mahasiddhas have also conducted themselves in the way that Dontopa perfectly relied upon Atisha. Even now, Dontopa is the crown ornament of all. The quality of the auspicious connection in your reliance upon the spiritual guide is also extremely important. Naropa emanated the mandala Hevajra and revealed it to Marpa. And when he said, will you prostrate to the Lama or prostrate to your personal deity? Marpa made a mistake in establishing an auspicious connection, and instead of prostrating to Naropa, he prostrated to Hevajra. When Milarepa first met Marpa, Marpa revealed himself in the aspect of a plowman, and Milarepa didn't recognize Marpa. However, Marpa commanded Milarepa to finish the remaining plowing and gave him some beer to drink that he had also emanated, which established an auspicious connection. When Milarepa came into the presence of Marpa offering numerous supplications, from that very day Marpa began rebuking Milarepa, and Milarepa offered his body, speech, and mind, which is said to be a good gesture. Again, at a later time, Milarepa obtained many bushels of barley from Lodrog and offered Marpa a stainless, empty copper vessel, whereby he incurred a good and bad dependent relationship. According to the teachings in Setchok Ling Yongxing Pandita Kachen Geshe Gyaltsen's biography, Kachen Geshe Gyaltsen himself received the empowerment of Heruka and Yupa's tradition and others in the presence of Sarcha Namkat Sangpo. In general, it is taught that when the Lama is leaving You do not prostrate behind him. However, Kachen and Geshe Gyaltsen subsequently forgot this teaching, and when they met in his hermitage, recalled the good qualities of his guru and made prostrations behind him after they met. Also, when Gyaltsen 1364 to 1432 initially met Tsongkhapa, he went up to the teaching mount, which established an auspicious connection. During the painting of a mural at Ganden Monastery, Gyaltsab and Dulzen Drachma Gyaltsam, 1350 to 1413, drew the Buddha as the main object of the field of merit instead of the Lama, and due to this dependent related connection, even now, for among the three main monastic institutions of Sera, Ganden, and Drepung, Ganden has limited scholarship and prosperity because of this mistake of inauspiciousness. This is an essential point that comes from the oral tradition. There are numerous such events. All the excellent accumulations in this life and the next depend upon the proper reliance upon the guru, which is the root. You should also perfectly rely upon your personal teacher and so forth. Next, in Tsongkhapa's middle-length treatise on the stages of the path, this is elaborated with a repeated explanation and a concise teaching on how to train. Day 10. The teachings from interwoven praises state this bottomless samsara up to whoever goes for refuge today. The quotes from this scripture tell us that since time without beginning, we have wandered within the bottomless and endless ocean of samsara, through which we experience the unbearable suffering of body and life inflicted by the sea monsters of the afflictive emotions. Yet if there was no way of being liberated from this, our suffering in samsara would be endless. Therefore, we definitely need to seek in this very moment a refuge to protect us from this. Furthermore, with respect to the refuge that has terminated all faults and is endowed with all good qualities, it is none other than the teacher, the perfect and complete Buddha. And it is for that reason that we go for refuge in the Buddha. We entrust ourselves to the scripture and realization of Dharma, taught by that teacher, as our actual refuge through listening, contemplation, and meditation. We embrace the Sangha as our companions who practice the Dharma refuge. Therefore, set your motivation as before by thinking, by every means possible, I'm going to gain liberation from this great ocean of suffering. For that purpose, I'm going to listen to the teachings on the stages of the path. We can even attain enlightenment in one life through secret Tantra and dependence upon proper reliance upon the spiritual guide. This is what Milarepa and others did. The faults of not relying upon your spiritual guide. If we become separated from even a single oral precept that the Lama taught, we will experience the opposite effect of the aforementioned 8 benefits, such as we will come closer to the state of enlightenment, and instead there will be 8 faults, such as the state of enlightenment becoming increasingly farther away, and so forth. The faults of not relying upon your spiritual guide has 8 sections. 1, if you disparage your guru, you criticize all the Buddhas. 2, if you generate an angry mind toward your guru, you destroy the roots of virtue equal in number to the instances of that anger and will be reborn in hell for that number of eons. 3, you will not accomplish supreme attainments despite your reliance on Tantra. 4, although you may apply yourself to the meaning of Tantra, it will be as though you were accomplishing the hells. 5, you will not develop your previous good qualities of the grounds and paths or develop new ones. Those you have developed will deteriorate. 6, in this life you will be tormented by undesirable things such as illness. 7, in your next life you will wander endlessly in the lower realms. 8, you will be deprived of spiritual guides in all future lives. If you disparage your guru, you criticize all the Buddhas. The 50 verses of Guru devotion states, quote, if a disciple comes under the care of such a protector and then despises him, he will be despising all the Buddhas and will continuously receive suffering, unquote. The essence of nectar, stage of the path, proclaims the spiritual guides are the enlightened actions of all the conquerors. And because your guru is the very manifestation of that, if you disrespect him, you disrespect all the conquerors. What could have a more severe consequence than that, unquote. As it states, if we engage in criticism of a Lama, such as our personal teacher, because that guru is the embodiment of the enlightened actions of all Buddhas, it becomes a disparagement of all the Buddhas. If you generate an angry mind toward your guru, you destroy the roots of virtue equal in number to the instances of that anger and will be reborn in hell for that number of eons. The root Tantra of Kalachakra states, Quote, count the moments of anger toward your guru. You destroy the merit accumulated for that number of eons, after which you will have to experience intense feelings of suffering, of hell, and so forth for that same amount of time, unquote. If you are angry with your guru for the span of 1 instant, you destroy your roots of virtue accumulated over that length of time, after which you must remain in hell for eons, equal in number to those moments. You will not accomplish supreme attainments despite your reliance on Tantra. The 5th chapter of the Guyasamayaja root Tantra states, quote, although sentient beings have engaged in great acts of non-virtues, such as the 5 heinous actions, in this life they will attain siddhis as the supreme vehicle to your great ocean of the Vajrayana. Those who disparage their master from the depths of their hearts will be utterly without attainments despite their practice, unquote. If we disparage our guru, however much we enthusiastically exert ourselves in dependence upon Tantra, it is absolutely certain that we will not develop realizations. Previously, Marpa's esteemed wife secretly arranged for Milarepa to receive instructions in the presence of Mogchedor. Yet despite his attempts to practice, Milarepa did not develop even the slightest realization. If things such as this happen even when you don't get the Lama's approval, there is no need to mention other more serious things. Although you may apply yourself to the meaning of Tantra, it will be as though you are accomplishing the house. The Vajra Mandala Adornment Tantra states, quote, anyone who criticizes his perfect master will be accomplishing the hells and so forth, despite properly practicing the supreme sadhanas of all tantras while abandoning sleep and companions, unquote. You will not develop your previous good qualities of the grounds and paths, or develop new ones, and those you have developed will deteriorate. If you disparage your guru, although you may be on the verge of developing realizations, you will not be able to develop them. It is said that Jetsun Rechungpa Dorje Jakpa, 1083 to 1161, had created the causes to become enlightened in his lifetime without any physical remnants, yet because he broke the advice of Milarepa 3 times, it took him 3 lifetimes to become enlightened. In general, if we lose faith in our Lama, although we may have karmic connection, it will be impossible to gain realizations. 2 Namas monks of Khotan came to see the Dharma king, Songtsen Kampo. Yet because of their mistaken conduct, their realizations of the grounds and paths deteriorated. It is said that in the past, there was a certain intelligent disciple who was flying in the sky, yet as soon as he belittled his master of lesser intelligence, he fell to the ground. And the disciple will be tormented by undesirable things such as illness. Regarding this point, we will leave this world with bad conditions surrounding our deaths. All our ventures will not meet with success, and so on. The 50 verses of Guru devotion states, quote, if you are so stupid as to criticize your master, you will be plagued with infectious diseases, afflictive illnesses, harm from spirits, epidemics, and poisons, after which you will die. You will be killed by kings, fire, poisonous snakes, water, dakinis, thieves, harmful spirits, and harmful evil forces, after which you will go to hell, unquote. You will die through any of the 13 negative circumstances, and even in this life, all sorts of inauspicious things will happen. While Master Buddhajana was teaching the Dharma, he saw his own Lama, Drupchen Pagsang, walking a distance, but when he subsequently met with him, Buddhajana lied and said that he hadn't seen Pagsang, at which point both of his eyes immediately fell from their sockets. His guru returned one of Buddhajana's eyes to him and was able to restore his vision in one eye. Previously, when Mahasiddha Krishnapada asked his guru Mahasiddha Salandarapa for permission to engage in tantric activities, his guru examined him to see whether or not it was the appropriate time, after which he said, to be able to enter the tantric activities, you must be able to both protect and destroy through actions of consciousness and exalted wisdom. Therefore, you need to be able to both kill and restore life. As opposed to the activity of annihilation, you are unable to protect it. Therefore, now is not the time to engage in the tantric activities. Despite this, Krishnapada didn't listen and broke his guru's command. He engaged in the tantric activities and met Vajrayogini in the aspect of an old leper woman on the banks of the Ganges River. Yet he didn't recognize her because his preparations were not completed. This sort of thing happened numerous times. Again, Heruka, father and mother, appeared as emanations of a plowman a scripture reader, and a woman picking fruit, yet he did not recognize any of them either. Finally, Krishnapada was seized by a virulent illness. His great Mahasiddha disciples obtained medicine, but many non-virtuous dakinis washing themselves in the pool of flowers confused and distracted them. After these obstacles occurred, Krishnapada passed away. The reason he did not attain the supreme attainment of enlightenment in that life and body was due to the fact that he had directly disobeyed his guru's command. Also, Rinpoche insisted on going on pilgrimage to Lhasa, although Milarepa would not grant him permission. He went to Yarlung and met Lacham Dembu, who was the daughter of the local ruler of a small estate. Once they met, they were together for only 2 years, and she served him well. Ani Rinpoche himself had a piece of turquoise that someone else had offered him, which he gave to a beggar, thus establishing a connection with him. Lacham spread out unwholesome food, such as vegetables without any flavoring, as well as the residue from the beer and curdled milk. She beat the beggar and chased him from the fortress. She threw the container of bad food at him, wounding him and causing blood to spew profusely from his body. Quote, on the upper part of his neck and the recesses of his stomach, 1 fatherly lama and 100 ripas, even half of a ripa, act as servant to the lama. Even half of a ripa will travel to an isolated mountain. The unfortunate Rechu was entrapped by the hand of the demoness and suffered at the hand of the shameless demoness. And I am a Ripa yogi of the kingdom. However many empowerments I have reached, I am not familiar with the empowerments of the clay pot. However many oral precepts I have received, I am not familiar with the oral precepts of the residual beard. However many blessings I have received, I am not familiar with the blessing of the white stick. However many baths I have experienced, I am not familiar with the bath of curdled milk. How many clothes I have worn, however many clothes I have worn, I'm not familiar with the wearing blue leaves. However many flowers were scattered, I'm not familiar with flowers in the palm of your hand. However many blessing cords I have worn, I'm not familiar with requesting the blessing cord of pepper water. The bad action of a person in samsara familiar with scriptures is the harvester of the misery of actions performed with anger and the lack of gratitude. I contemplated my actions and I, Rechung, have regret. This is Rechung's melancholy song of heartful regret. Having fled, he was forced to continue to run away, which came from the fault of having broken the command of his guru. Within the lineage gurus of Nune is Pandita Geshe Zampo, who had an extremely virulent skin disease resulting in lesions. Then Motara spoke to his lama, Pandita Dawa Shirnu, and said, in the past, he didn't properly rely upon a guru, and this is purifying that obscuration. Geshe Nurser's disciple was a novice monk who made a mistake in his faith in his guru and was struck with a serious illness. He had a terrifying vision just before he died of a fire bursting forth from Nurser's mountain and monastery that descended upon him, and with a terrified expression, he died. Nurserpa said that this was a sign that in his next life, he would also be reborn in a hot hell. In your next life, you will wander endlessly in the lower realms. 50 verses of Guru devotion states, quote, you should never agitate the minds of any of your masters. And if you are so stupid that you do so, you will definitely roast in hell. To quote the commentary on the difficult points of the black enemy, quote, whoever does not accept as a guru someone from whom he listened to even one verse will take rebirth 100 times in the abode of dogs and will be born a butcher, unquote. Regarding a butcher, this means in the lineage of butchers and outcasts. Although there are teachings that state a scorpion and so forth, the former example is the best system. The Vajrapani Empowerment Tantra states, quote, Bhagawan, what sort of karmic maturation will there be for those who disparage their masters? The Bhagawan declared, Vajrapani, do not ask such things, for it would terrify the world together with the gods to hear, Lord of Secrets. I will nevertheless proclaim just a small portion. Hero, listen very carefully. Any of the unbearable hells that I have taught as a result of actions of immediate retribution and so on, are proclaimed to be their abodes for limitless eons. For this reason, never disparage your master at any time, unquote. Thus, if you happen to disparage a lama in general, the ripened result in your next life will be boundless. What need is there to mention criticizing your own lama? If you have lapsed samaya with another lama, or even his companions, attendants, and so forth, you will have bad dreams. You will be deprived of spiritual guides in all lives. Through having an erroneous reliance upon your spiritual guide right now, you will absolutely not meet spiritual guides in your future lives, and for that reason, although you will have obtained a human body, you will not have the opportunity to listen to Dharma and so forth. The essence of nectar stage of the past states, quote, even if you obtain a life in a happy realm 100 times as a result corresponding to the cause of disrespect, will take rebirth in a place without freedom, without the chance to even hear the sound Dharma or spiritual guide, unquote. You may be motivated with desire to listen to the Dharma, to learn Dharma, but you need faith, recognizing your guru as the Buddha, even for something as minor as listening to the alphabet. Quote, Shaka-san, if you don't develop faith after requesting a Dharma connection, what use is there in having requested a Dharma connection? There is no point in practicing because it becomes the cause of hell without respite, and is like the blind being led by the tail of a cow, unquote. Although Drew Kang Gelek meditated unceasingly upon his other lamas with whom he had a Dharma connection, he didn't meditate on the disrobed monk who had taught him the alphabet. Therefore, until he visualized him as the principal deity of the field of merit, he was not able to develop any realizations of the Lamrim. It is also extremely important to forsake non-virtuous teachers and bad companions. All those who engage in trainings that are in opposition to the Dharma are bad companions. Therefore, it is extremely important that you be very cautious around them. Although in Tsongkhapa's great and middle-length treatises on the stages of the path to enlightenment, the benefits of reliance and the faults of non-reliance are taught after training in faith and recalling the Guru's kindness. When carrying out the meditations, you should bring them up to this section of the outline and apply them at this point. The actual way to rely in thought and action has two sections. 1, how to rely in thought or training in faith as the root. 2, the way of recalling his kindness. How to rely in thought or training in the faith as the root. Whether or not you develop all the realizations, the grounds and path depends upon training and faith in the Guru. Previously, Don Topa asked Atisha, why is it that we Tibetans have numerous meditations we practice, yet we haven't attained special good qualities? Atisha replied, developing all the greater and lesser good qualities of the Mahayana arises in dependence upon the Guru. You Tibetans don't regard your Gurus as anything other than ordinary. So how could you develop those qualities? For example, whether or not the branches, leaves, and fruit of a tree grow is dependent upon whether or not they are connected to the trunk's root. All the realizations from the point of the leisure and endowments up to the union of no more learning come solely through the Guru. Therefore, he is called the root of the path. Of all the meditations on the Lamrim, training the root of the path in the Guru and recognizing all beings your mother are the two most difficult, as previously cited. In short, whether your realizations are great or small is also determined by whether the strength of your meditation on faith is great or small. The kind Lama is the root of all attainments. Contemplate his good qualities and don't look for his faults. May I hold this instruction in the palm of my hand and perfect this and other such pledges without obstruction. This is saying that whether or not you develop realizations in your mental continuum ensues whether or not you have faith and devotion in your Guru. Therefore, you should train yourself to perceive the Guru as a Buddha. How to rely in thought or training in faith as a root has 3 sections. 1, the reason you must perceive your Guru as a Buddha. 2, the reason you are able to perceive your Guru as a Buddha. 3, how to regard your Guru as a Buddha. The reason you must perceive your Guru as a Buddha. You should see your Guru as a Buddha because you want a profit and don't want a loss. This is established from establishing the fundamental reason. Although your Guru may be an actual Buddha, if you don't see him or her as a Buddha, you will not gain any profit and will only sustain a loss, like Sunakshatrap and Devadatta. Even if your Guru is not a Buddha, if you view him as a Buddha, it will be like the woman with the dog's tooth that she was convinced was the actual tooth of the Buddha, whereby she received the Buddha's blessings and it produced relics. In this way, you will receive only a profit and no loss. The reason you are able to perceive your Guru as a Buddha. You are able to see your Guru as a Buddha if you develop a very powerful mind perceiving his or her good qualities. Although you may see a few faults, you will be overpowered by a perception of the good qualities. According to the teachings in Tsongkhapa's great treatise on the stage of the path, a teacher perceived the incomparable Sailing Pa from the perspective of apprehending his good qualities. Alternatively, there is also a system of transforming Guru's appearance of fault as an aid to perceiving his good qualities. How to regard your Guru as a Buddha has 4 sections. 1. Vajradhara said that the Guru is a Buddha. 2. The Guru performs the enlightened actions of all the Buddhas. 3. In these degenerate times, Buddhas continue to work for the welfare of living beings. 4. Our perceptions are unreliable. I think Geshe is here.
Please have a seat. Tashi Dele, today Chuyingla. Welcome back to North Carolina.
Ashidele Geshe, thank you so much.
Are you staying at David Steeple?
Yes, in the Streeville Pure Land.
Oh, very good. Oh, yeah, good evening, Tomasi. Again, good evening. Venerable Tudin Chuying, welcome back to Center. Good evening, Elise. Good evening, Helen. Tashi Gelek. Alex, Sandra. Good evening, Anthony. Good evening, Bodhisattva Patrick. Good evening, Ryan. How are you, Ryan?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay. Good evening, David. Good evening, Venerable Hamullah. Good evening, Venerable Mawachuki. Good evening, Julie, Lee, Nindi. Together. Good evening, Jill. Good evening, Romini. Good evening, Yeshuya. Good evening, Karen. Good evening, Goina. Anybody watching on YouTube? Good evening. Any questions?
Yes, Geshe.
No.
The question is, there are many examples of students like Milarepa relying on the spiritual teacher, even withstanding many hardships. Are there any examples of how the student like Milarepa went about learning about the qualities of their teacher before they put their reliance on them? And then there's a follow-up. The question of
First one, like Milarepa, like what?
there are many examples of students like Milarepa relying on the spiritual teacher, even with many hardships. Are there any examples of how a student like Milarepa went about learning the qualities of their teacher before they put their reliance on them?
So, yeah, so Milarepa probably learned like that after he after a lot of problems, says similar problem, that mundane problem within the families. So, yeah, so, samsaric problems, common problems. So then went to learn like how to take revenge, probably take revenge. So then probably went to learn like, some form of black magic. So probably without teacher, you can't even learn. Somebody has to teach you, so that magic. So they are probably learned quite a bit of how to rely on the teachers. So and without teachers' guidance, probably you're not going to achieve your goal. So they are probably learned. So then I'm sure probably read from the teachings. Didn't it? What part of the second question?
Yes, the second question was the issue of examples of how to properly find a qualified guru are very important because the consequences of not relying on the guru are very serious.
Consequence of not relying on guru is not that serious. Why it is very serious? No consequence of not relying on the guru.
We've been reading about spending eons in the hot hells, Geshe.
Huh?
We've been reading about spending eons in the hot hells.
Not relying on guru.
Not relying on the guru. I'm answering for this
No,
question.
no. In order to rely on guru, first you have to have guru. If you don't have guru, so then how are you going to rely on? So then if you don't rely on it because you don't have guru, can't say you don't have guru, you live in eons and eons, the hell realm. That's not fair. Yes.
I'm going to ask if the questioner wants to follow up
Mm.
and clarify.
Geshe, that was my question. And what I'm trying to understand is how, we are taught the qualities of a guru, of a teacher, but I am trying to find examples of how people have gone about seeking and finding and confirming those qualities in their teacher before putting their reliance on them. Because we've been learning, like, for example, with Milarepa and other, well, not Milarepa, but other people who did not pay attention to their guru's instruction and suffered very serious consequences. But I wonder how you go about trusting yourself to adequately assess the person you're going to take as a guru. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, so that's why I encourage all of you so that in Lamrim teachings, they're not just Lamrim. Probably 50 stanzas of Guru devotion composed by Lama Tsongkhapa, Lama Tsongkhapa. So there are material out there you can read. First and foremost, important things to read. What are the 10 qualifications that somebody needs to possess before him or her become qualified, like Dharma teacher or spiritual guide. So need to read that very carefully and study and educate yourself. So make sure you understand all these qualifications. So then there's certain qualifications that you need to possess in order to qualify as a proper vessel or student of that, person whom you are going to thinking to accept as your Lama or Guru. So there are certain qualifications that you have to possess. So study both of them very clearly, make sure that you understand all of them very clearly. So then based on that knowledge, then you analyze, And like this degeneration times, it's hard to find someone who possesses all the qualities, but at least among those qualities, there's like some of them are very, very important to have. So then this kind of prevent you to make the wrong person who has wrong idea about the path, wrong idea about how to lead on the path. There's many mistaken ideas. So then it's going to be like blind leading blind. So then get out of nowhere. That's risk that all of you may fall into a cliff, out of the cliff, because nobody can see. So So this is first and foremost important thing is to understand the qualifications. So based on that, then you analyze. Okay, analyze. Nobody forced us to that we have to have guru. Nobody forced us. But the great master, including Lama Atisha, Lama Tsongkhapa, all that lamas explain the benefit that you receive if you have the gurus. Then if you devote yourself with that gurus, then there's a lot of benefit. There's a lot of benefit. That benefit included state of the Buddhahood, Vajradhara. So there are many realizations, the cities, common city, uncommon city. There are many things you can obtain based on part of your devotion towards that, the guru, that you accept him or her deliberately. Nobody forces you. Deliberately, voluntarily, nobody forces you. So then, does not mean that you cannot create any merit if you don't have guru. That's not true. That's actually not true. You could still say something nice. You could still think something positive. You could still physically do something good. So because we as a human, we have Buddha natures, we are capable to say something good. At the same time, we are also capable to say something negative. No. So if you are very serious, if you are very serious about liberation, Buddhahood, you do need guru, and someone who's very knowledgeable about that path, actually the Lamrim path that leads to the ultimate goal. And top of that, and having some experience means like that person is like meditating on Lamrim and thinking about Lamrim every single day and meditating on Lamrim. That person has to have more knowledge about Lamrim than you do, otherwise there's nothing to teach. So, so there's basically there's a lot of benefits that comes with having a proper devotion towards the masters, having proper devotions. Then you can't blame anybody because according to the Vinayaka Sutras, Buddha gives you time, even though it takes 12 years to analyze, you must take time because, this is important. It's important when you read the 50 cents of Guru devotion composed by Lama Tsongkhapa, then you see, especially when you go higher into the path. Once you enter into Vajrayana path, the Vajra master is the key. Without Vajra master, probably it's like hard to accomplish anything. Okay, so need to study first, at least first need to be first and foremost important to study the qualification, 10 qualifications, and not just analyzing someone else, also needs to analyze yourself. So what kind of qualification that you need to possess in order to become proper vessel for the teaching, very teaching that you're receiving. Okay.
Thank you, Geshe.
So then it is challenged. It's been challenged in the past. It's still challenged. I mean, Guru devotions. It's going to be challenged in future. It's not easy practice. It's like it's a difficult practice, and that has to grow within yourself. You have to see the importance of Guru. It's not like somebody force you or it's Guru. So anybody's teaching about Guru devotion is based on teachings composed by Lama Tsongkhapa, Lama Atisha, or the Kadama master. They are just repeating them. So okay.
So Geshe, if we are very fortunate to have you and no other highly qualified teachers from Sarah J and other FPMT teachers, but if someone didn't have access to teachers like that, could they, for example, say like Lama Tsongkhapa or Lama Atisha was their guru and just study their teachings, or does it need to be someone who is a person alive at the same time?
So there's a number of the teachers been mentioned in Vinayaka Sutra where they talks about monastic life. So then what is called, there's like direct guru, that person whom you are receiving teaching directly. So then there's indirect gurus that are your teachers, the lineage lama. These are like considered as like indirect lama, lineage lama. Even though we didn't get a chance to see Lama Atisha and Lama Tsongkhapa, but there's a way to receive the blessing from them through your lama. So these are considered as like indirect, lamas. Yeah, so the devotion is the key. If you don't have teacher, you can consider Shakyamuni Buddha as your teacher. But according to, it needs to be clear, according to Vinayaka Sutras, the teacher, you have to at least receive one stanza of teachings. Even like, you have to receive some teachings, otherwise that person cannot be your teacher. You have to receive something, so there's Vinayaka Sutra, there's a 700-page long, or maybe something that talks about monastic life. So there's a detailed explanation about like all the different types of teachers. So in order to, first you have to receive some teachings. If you don't have any chance to receiving teachings in a person, so then Shakyamuni Buddha you consider as your teacher. So because he's founder of the Buddhism, so that his one is the 14th Dalai Lama. Nowadays you can watch. Teaching online, even His Holiness Dalai Lama said, if you watch His Holiness teaching online, so that is considered as a receiving teaching. Even exceptionally, not all the initiation, some initiation you can receive online, and this is considered that you did receive teaching, because a lot of Tibetan people back in Tibet, there's no chance for receiving teaching directly from His Holiness. Is almost impossible. So, but they are very much devoted to His Holiness. So then when His Holiness give teaching online, if they can listen or watch, so it is the Water Master said that you do receive.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Geshe. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, so that like that. So then you can nowadays, there's many resources you can watch online, His Holiness teachings. So then you do receive teachings. So then if you don't see any if you don't have any problem accepting His Holiness Dalai Lama as your teacher, so then you can do. Okay, now there's a lot of resource. Ancient time, all these resources not available. You have to meet in persons. There's no other way to receive teaching. So then the reason I think His Holiness give in Vinayaka Sutra, there's a number of different ways to ordain. Long time ago, in the very beginning, even just Elias, come here, just that word, you get ordained. You don't need these complicated rituals. I believe that's what His Holiness said, but that is already in the Vinayaka Sutra. His Holiness didn't make this up. It's already in Vinayaka Sutra. So Tsusho means come here. Just that word, you are ordained. You're already ordained. So okay.
Thank you,
Now,
Geshe. Thank you.
Resource, all the resource that you have, you can receive teachings. You don't have to see the person. So I think permission is given by His Holiness Dalai Lama. Of course, all the sutra teaching, Lamrim teaching, you will receive. All right?
Thank you.
Then what else, Domasi?
No other questions right now, Geshe-la?
It's much, much better to read Lamrim much as possible and meditate on Lamrim topic rather than thinking about going to be born in hell realm. As I said, if there's no benefit, why you think about you are going to be born in hell realm? If there's no benefit, why you think about that? If there's a benefit, then of course, the very reason about description about the hell realm is to energize us to achieve liberations. If it's not helping, it's not reading of hell realm, it's not energizing you to strive for moksha or liberation, it's not serving its purpose. No benefit, it's not benefit. It's not benefit. Then why you read? There's no benefit. There's enough hell on the human society, so don't need to go that deep, that far. So look around, so okay. Yeah, then how much page, how much you read today?
18 pages, about 1/3 finished of the book.
Or, So where are we now?
We're in the middle of day 10.
Let's go 1 second. Yeah, meanwhile, if somebody's asking question, then we can do that. Day 10. Middle of the day 10?
Yes, Geshe-la. How to regard your guru as a Buddha?
So now here, in Theravadan traditions and minor traditions, there's two different traditions. According to Vinayaka Sutra, that you should look at your teacher as a Buddha. Not see your teacher as a Buddha, but look at him as like Buddha. Like treat him like him or her like Buddha. Buddha is not based on gender; it's just simply enlightened beings. So that's the Vinayaka Sutra. Then the Sutra teachings. So then maybe you see your teacher as a Buddha. There's some different. In the Vinayaka Sutra, you see your teacher as like Buddha, not as a Buddha, like a Buddha. Then the Sutra teaching, you see your teacher as a Buddha. And the Vajrayana teachings, so then not just see, then probably believe your teacher is inseparable with Vajradhara. See, In the Theravada tradition, then you look at you see your Lama as a real enlightened being. You see your Lama like real enlightened being. In the Sutrayana, then you see your Lama as enlightened being. In the Vajrayana, so then not just see, so then to believe that is inseparable with Vajradhara, something like that. Okay? So now just think about, not just teacher, not just think about, if you see, whenever you encounter with some other beings, if you see that being what happens if you see that being is like enlightened beings? What is the benefit? Just think about that. Just think about that. From idea, give you some ideas. If you look at someone's like as like enemy, what happens? What happened to your mind? If you see if you see just pure, taparamjam, just pure, according to Vajrayana teachings, if you just see everything just pure, what does your mind? What does your mind? What kind of benefit that you will receive having this mindset, seeing just pure, all the environment is like mandala, all the beings in the environment is like Dhaka Dakini. What kind of benefit you receive? So, yeah, so it's all about your gain. It's all about your own benefit. From all the way from Guru devotion to all the way to like special insight, all this Lamrim path. It's all designed to help you to achieve full enlightenment. It's all to help yourself. If you think, oh, that's for my teacher, wrong. Ignorance. It's wrong. This all path laid down you to achieve full enlightenment, step by step. That include Guru devotion too, all the way there. Okay, but in the West, it's not easy to talk about Guru devotion. It's not easy to talk about. So therefore, I never taught Guru devotion last 20 years at the Kadamba Center. Never taught. It's not easy to understand. It's challenged in the past. It's still going to be challenged, and it's going to be challenged in the future. It's something that has to grow within, from your side. Okay. So then, after that, even the Guru already passed away many years ago. There's still a way to receive blessing from your Guru. In the dream, in the visions, then it's like this, seeing almost like seeing person to person. So when Lama Tsongkhapa passed away, the younger disciple, Ketu Rinpoche, Lama Tsongkhapa appeared to Ketu Rinpoche in 5 different forms. Now there's painting is available. So these 5 different paintings appear to Ketu Rinpoche so much devoted to Lama Tsongkhapa, see, best way of seeing directly. So the second, visions. Third, in dream. So that you continue to receive blessings from, like your own Lama, even though they passed away many, many years ago, you still manage to receive blessings, okay? A lot of benefit, if you do it properly, a lot of benefit, but you can do, it's not easy, but you can do, it's not easy, but you can do, okay? It's not easy because our mind don't see just pure, because our mind see all kinds of things, and very quick to see false, and quick to believe without analyzing them, and quick to blame, and quick to judge. So now we talk about Miladaba, so it's hard, it's not easy, okay? Yeah, now please read continuously. If you have no questions, I'm happy. There's 18 pages been read. So that means you answer to everything. That's good news. So that means last 25 years teaching here, probably contributing something.
Geshe, would you mind if Venerable Chirkila?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Any Venerable read, that's fine, no problem. So if Venerable get tired, so they can pass down on somebody else.
Okay, so we're on page 194 in the book for those following along.
Oh, yeah.
Vajradhara said that the Guru is a Buddha. The Vajratent Tantra states He who is called Vajrasattva himself assumes the form of the master. To be perceptible for the benefit of living beings, I will abide in the form of an ordinary being. The Vajra Tantra states, during the final 500 years of the Buddha's teachings, I will abide in the form of the master, develop conviction thinking that I am him, at that time develop devotion for him. With respect to the phrase, final 500-year period, that also refers to our current era. The sutra also states, listen, Amagadarshi, in the future, when the time has come, I will teach through the body of an abbot. I will abide in the form of a master. This is saying that you shouldn't become disheartened, thinking that you didn't meet the Buddha when he was here, because he is saying, in the future, I will appear in the aspect of the Guru and teach the Dharma. For that reason, in this day and age, Conqueror Vajradhara appears in the aspect of the Guru and has currently arrived. Vajradhara has manifested as all of your gurus. Moreover, Vajradhara also works for the welfare of living beings. When your own guru works for your welfare, you should also realize that Vajradhara is emanating within the position of your guru. Some people say that this is not so. They think that when Vajradhara says he is an emanation, it is a general statement, and that although their guru is an actual Buddha, this does not necessarily mean that all gurus are Buddhas. Vajradhara has emanated as your own guru, and that is who he is. If you don't recognize this, you must be on guard against the danger of not recognizing that all your gurus are emanations of Conqueror Vajradhara. Not only should you not have doubt, but you must perceive them all as Vajradhara. When he appears in the aspect of a single one of your lamas, just that one lama is not able to teach you everything, such as the alphabet, vows, empowerments, commentaries, transmissions, and so on. He must appear in the aspect of numerous lamas. Although you don't recognize it, Conqueror Vajradhara himself said that your guru is a Buddha. Therefore, as scripture states, although the moon and stars may fall to earth, it is impossible for the great sage to speak a lie. Thus, it is not possible for Vajradhara to lie, and this is an actual fact stated in all the scriptures. Since this is the case, it is absolutely certain that Vajradhara has emanated among your lamas. You need to be on guard against trying to guess which ones are Buddhas by wondering, perhaps this one is, this one isn't. They are all Buddhas. The Guru performs the enlightened actions of all the Buddhas. This section is accomplished through reasoning. Although this may be sufficient for a disciple with dull faculties, being a disciple with sharp faculties requires reasoning. Furthermore, if you don't have a lama, it will be impossible to receive the enlightened actions of all the Buddhas. Therefore, the Guru is the closest gateway through which you can receive the blessings of all the Buddhas in the 10 directions. Sepan stated, although the sun's rays may be extremely hot, without a magnifying glass, they will not catch fire. Despite the blessings of the Buddhas in the 10 directions, without a guru, you will not receive them. The Buddha is like the sun, the magnifying glass is your guru, and the tinder is your mind. Godsang Palosang Dao Rinchen also stated, if you purify the obscuring clouds, the heavenly orb of the sun will shine, and a light upon the kindling through the dependent relationship of a transparent magnifying glass. If an ordinary being purifies his conceptual faults, the blessings of the Buddhas of the 10 directions will alight upon the mental continuum of the disciple through the dependent relationship of the qualified guru. There is no other possible way for the blessings of all the Buddhas in the 10 directions to enter the mental continuum of the disciple so that he or she can develop abandonment and realization other than operating indirectly through the guru. In relationship to yourself as well, the blessings of the Buddha must be received in that way. So without the guru, there is no way of receiving them. For that reason, the guru is the intermediary between you and the enlightened actions of the Buddha, similar to an attendant of a Tibetan official. Some may also wonder, although I am convinced that the guru is the means of receiving the Buddha's enlightened actions, that does not necessarily mean that the guru is a Buddha. As a response to this, consider that when the Buddhas work for the welfare of living beings, the Buddhas themselves emanate as the agent of the enlightened actions of all the Buddhas, and then perform their actions without relying upon living beings. For example, if a wealthy person breaks a drinking cup, it will only suffice if he buys a new one with his own money. He won't drink from one that has been borrowed from a beggar. The engagement of the enlightened actions of the Buddha for the disciples must rely upon the wisdom truth body as the dominant condition. Because of that, the wisdom truth body functions as the cause of faith and so forth in your own mental continuum. Therefore, the wisdom truth body must exist in the mind of one's own guru to serve as the cause of your faith. Regarding the wisdom truth body, this is a unique quality of a Buddha and is not possessed by an ordinary living being. Therefore, that also resolves conclusively that the guru is a Buddha. With respect to the wisdom truth body, that is only a quality of a Buddha and is not possessed by sentient beings. Therefore, it is certain that your guru is a Buddha. In these degenerate times, Buddhists continue to work for the welfare of living beings. Even in this day and age, the Buddhas work for the welfare of living beings. A scripture states, the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas who appeared in the past are still working for the welfare of migrating beings. When you understand that this is not merely a thesis, but that they have in fact congregated within the qualified guru. Once the Buddha became enlightened, he didn't remain idle and not work for the welfare of living beings. From the very beginning of his path as a bodhisattva, the Buddha generated the supreme bodhicitta for the welfare of all living beings. In the middle phase, he accumulated merit. Finally, he enacted the welfare of all living beings according to his bodhicitta. He also works for our own welfare. An oral instruction of my guru states that each and every Buddha also dwells amid each and every living being within his or her visual perception.
So they see the way the enlightened being benefit, so we shouldn't have this misunderstanding that, okay, like, we have moral responsibilities to liberate ourselves. Enlightened being, all the bodhisattvas are enlightened being, they are committed for their cause. The very cause, that cause means your liberation. They are your enlightenment, your liberations, your freedom from samsara. All the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, they are dedicated for that cause day and night, never gives up. But we have moral responsibility to create the cause, Otherwise, we should not think like, okay, or if they have that much compassion, if they have that much infinity love and compassion, why they don't just take out all my suffering? It's not going to work. It's not going to work like that. Or why they? I don't like to work so hard. Why they don't just bestow all their realization to me? That's not how it works. It's not. They can't do. Even though you get enlightened, even though you have wish to offer, you cannot. You can't give your own meditative experience to somebody else. You cannot give. That has to produce. That meditative experience has to produce through meditations. So there's something that you are fully equipped to do. And what enlightened and being a Buddhist, what they can do, they can teach you about shunyata. You learn, there's tons of books out there that explains in great length and very depth, explain what is shunyata, how to meditate shunyata. So we learn then, and when first learn, then think, so then kind of implement day-to-day life. That's how it liberates, that's how the enlightened beings of Bodhisattva, that's how that help. So we shouldn't have this misunderstanding, they are going to do something for me, not taking any responsibility. That's not going to happen. So we shouldn't have that kind of misunderstanding. Okay, so then that misunderstanding become obstacle for your devotions. It becomes the main obstacle for your devotions. Nije toba shenla pemini chuni dempa tempe to chuni emptiness, shunyata. They teach, you learn, meditate, and whatever necessary condition that you need to create, of course, you need vast amount of merit in order to have experience of shunyata, directly, indirectly, of course, directly, of course, that only probably directly, indirectly, even just indirectly, meditative experience of shunyata require a lot of merit, a lot of merit, a lot of merit. That's why Lama Tsongkhapa went to the Woka, Chuling, not very far from central Tibet, did millions of post-stations, showing us how to achieve deeper understanding of shunyata or have experience. That's how it's been done. So every day, much as possible, the creating merit, reciting mantra, or reading Lamrim. So whatever ways that you create merit is every day that we can do, and we can do it correctly, and very little things will go wrong. So we can do it right. So we can create solid merit, not just merit. We can create solid merit. Motivations very strong. Actual practice, you can make it strong. While you're doing it, you can be mindful. You can feel fortunate. You can energize during your practice. You can energize. Wow, this is incredible. I have no idea how I created this karma to able to meet Lama Tsongkhapa teachings that I can read Lamrim. I can not just read. I can understand. That's like really something. We should not take that very lightly. That's really something. Even the higher Lama cannot promise you to meet Lama Tsongkhapa teaching in the future. Even they cannot promise. But you met Lama Tsongkhapa teaching. Now you're reading it and you're understanding the word. Wow, that is like really something. So so then during the practice, you can energize yourself. So that's wonderful. That's incredible that I'm doing Lama Tsongkhapa Guru Yoga practice, and I'm trying to visualize all the practices out there. So there's all of them that you can learn. It's not like that you cannot learn, you can learn. So strong motivations. While you're doing the practice, you kind of feel fortunate and you feel like you're doing something wonderful. And you have faith, it will at least create strong tendency in your mind stream. So then when you finish, then you dedicate them, welfare all sentient beings. That is solid merit that you can create, we all can create every day. Even just reciting Mani Mantra, motivation very strong. Then while you're reciting Mani Mantra, you are thinking about the welfare of all mother sentient beings. So then dedicate that merit. That's solid merit. Solid merit. That's strong form of merit that we can create every day. We can create a number of times. Good 10 minutes here, take rest. Again 10 minutes, 20 minutes, take rest. So it's not like we never sit on one place long period. Yeah, we do sit in front of TV without problem long time. If you can do that, you can actually sit probably at least one round of Mani Mantra, being mindful. That's impossible. If you cannot sit now, then you will never sit. When you are going to sit, it will never happen. That's why I say every day, remind yourself, this could be the last chance. This could be the last chance. So use it properly. Create merit as much as possible rather than worrying about animal realm, hell realm. It does no benefit. It's not doing any good. So focus more on what you can do rather than thinking about what I cannot do. Yeah, there are. Yeah, when you look at the Vajrayana teaching, sometimes you overwhelmed, like, oh, maybe when I can accomplish any of those realizations. No, first you have to learn. That's how it's been done. First you learn slowly, and you learn them well. Then maybe you think and review, or then maybe slowly focus, and maybe then slowly concentrate. It will happen. It happened to Lama Tsongkhapa, it happened to Lama Atisha. Why not? It will not happen to us. Why not? It will happen. But we need to put some effort, effort. Oh, this is the best chance to put some effort. Otherwise, then it's like huge loss. Okay. Why is saying? Where are you reading, Chugila? Sorry.
Well, we're getting closer to the end of day 10. Still, I think pretty much in the middle though. And
why you? Okay.
Let's see. We're in the section where we're talking about how to rely on the guru in thought.
Ooh.
And particularly how to regard your guru as Buddha.
So don't worry if you don't have guru, so you watch His Holiness teaching, Chapter Lama Subharam's teachings. These are all qualified, 100% qualified Dharma teachers. So, and in my case, I have like 16 gurus. Only 2 of them are alive. Most of them pass away. But I do think about them every single day, one by one. I do think about them one by one. So there are certain practice that allows me to still connect with them one by one through some practice. So that's what I'm saying, that you can continuously, while they are alive, not just while they're alive, you receive benefit, you receive a lot of knowledge. Even though we are not there, when they are no longer with us, you can still draw like inspirations. You can draw so much inspiration from them to be better. And you can do the same thing, just visualize His own every day, single day. Then, if you are watching His Holiness Dalai Lama's teachings, then you can visualize His Holiness, remember, so that's like, it's like remembering the Guru. Probably same as like calling the Guru from the far away. Something, it's all same thing. Okay, yeah,
So
we have like 7 minutes. Maybe I came a little late, maybe let's say 10 minutes.
So we're on the very bottom of page 197. In this day and age, all the Buddhas are working for our benefit. When they do, the being that is doing the emanating must emanate by transforming in a way that will benefit us. Therefore, we can be absolutely certain that in this day and age, he or she has also emanated as someone carrying out deeds for our welfare. Since this is so, if one Buddha emanates, because all the Buddhas are of a single taste in the Dharma Dhatu, it is necessarily an emanation of all the Buddhas. For that reason, if one Buddha is working for our benefit, all Buddhas are necessarily working for our benefit. Thus, if it is certain that they are emanating to accomplish our welfare, they could be no other way than through our Guru. This fact is also expressed in a verse that states, "The Munis do not wash away your negative karma with water." For the sake of liberating us from samsara and the fears of the lower realms, the Gurus work on our behalf enacting the deeds of the Buddhas by teaching us the Dharma from the alphabet and so forth on up, so that we can eliminate every last fault and cultivate every single good quality. For that reason, we needn't look anywhere other than to our guru to find the agent acting and enacting the deeds of the Buddhas in accordance with our fortune. Therefore, we can decide with complete certainty that the guru is a Buddha. But he is not only a Buddha, he is the embodiment of all Buddhas.
So now here what happens like Lamrim, all the Lamrim teaching is basically based on the Sutrayana teachings, Panchaparamita or Sutrayana teachings, from Guru devotion all the way down to the special insight, Kamabhayati special insight. So then after that, that's called common path or Tumulam Johnson, common path or foundations. So then after that, what happens? Vajrayana teaching start. In order to practice Vajrayana teaching, first we have to be initiated. So then somebody has to give you initiations. So there, no choice. You have to have Vajra master to initiate you. Otherwise, you have no permission to engage into all this Vajrayana practice. In order to engage, you have to be initiated. So in order to receive initiation, there somebody has to offer you initiations. So then the qualification of the Vajra master is much more profound, complex. Some of you may wonder why Geshe never offer initiation. So once it's not just like you don't just do, you know how to do. That's not good enough. You have to think. You don't just do, it's not that difficult. To do initiations, that is not that difficult to understand. But the qualification of the Vajra master, that needs to be clearly considered, whether you possess all these qualifications. As I said, degeneration time, you may now find someone who possesses all the qualifications, but important ones. So there, so then like has what do you call the final stage. There's Kriya Tantra, Charya Tantra, Yoga Tantra, the highest Yoga Tantra, generating stage and complete stage. You cannot achieve any realization in the complete stage if you don't know how to practice generating stage. Without practicing generating stage, first we need to learn what are the generating stage. And then, so then then you need to heavily rely on Vajra masters. So to lead you into the path, deeper into the path. So there, then so without Vajrayana path, you can go pretty close to enlightenment, but in the very end, you do need to initiate. Otherwise, then, so far my knowledge is concerned about Sutra and Tantra, so that's what it says. So then, in the teaching by Lama Tsongkhapa, so there probably is Lama Tsongkhapa teaching is no mistake. There's zero mistake. There's no mistake. So then Lama Tsongkhapa's teachings said it very clearly. Not just Lama Tsongkhapa teachings, all the Sakya, Kagyu, Nyingma, all these traditions. When it comes down the final stage, that's all in Vajrayana teaching. So that does not mean that you should worry, because there are way before that there are many good things that you can do. You can achieve another human form, perfect all the conditions, all the necessary conditions that you are enjoying now. You could have probably better one, continue to create merit. There's There's many things you can do. You should not know. But somehow some masters suggest, at least in this life, so make sure that you have some kind of imprint of Vajrayana teachings, because Vajrayana teachings not that easy to meet, because there are many Buddhas in the future will never teach Vajrayana teachings. That's what they say. So therefore, it's good to have some kind of imprint. So most of you already received initiation from Lama Zopa Rinpoche, and some of you already received my teacher from His Holiness. That's something to be grateful, okay? Then what else? So achieving enlightenment is very possible. It's possible for all of us, equally possible. It's equally available for all of us. Is it easy? No, it's not easy. You can't say it's easy. If you say it's easy, there's lie. There's no truth. You are not telling the truth. It's not easy. Is it achievable? Yes, it is achievable. Achievable. How is it? Achievable? But it's not that easy. But especially achieving enlightenment in this very short life during the degeneration time, even harder. So my start the path. There's something you can do. Start the process. Don't just think of, there's 1,000-mile journey, that's too long, and never start. Just walk, even few miles, maybe like 500 steps. The journey is already started. Otherwise, it was too hard, too far to reach. So then the Kungda Lama, 20 years passed, not able to practice anything. Another 20 years passed, thinking, maybe I'm going to do something. 20 years passed. So then by the end, then all the time is finished. Like, make sure it doesn't become like that, That, starting the process, starting the journey, there's something that we can do. We all can do. We can do it well, rather than thinking about when I'm going to accomplish. That's not that important. Starting the journey, that's most important. So there's something that we can do every day. Creating merit, okay? Creating merit, there's something you can do. So then if you want to really badly want to achieve enlightenment in this life, so then you need to put so much effort. So I'm not going to say it's easy, it's a piece of cake. I'm not going to say it. And it's probably, even if I say it's not true, it's not true. So if you then, day and night, so then you just think of enlightenment, maybe it will motivate to create more merit. Okay? Oh yeah, so Dene Chukila, so you are finished almost now? How many pages? Almost done.
Well, we're on page 198.
No, day 10.
Yeah. Oh, we're almost finished with day 10. There's still several pages.
Okay, so we'll stop. So maybe next Wednesday. So thank you very much for all of you coming in. So then again, so welcome back, Venerable Tuden Chuki.
Thank you, Geshe.
How long it's been?
I last came to North Carolina about 3 years ago.
No, after you become nun.
Oh, it's been 1.5 years.
Year and a half. Okay, so that time you are in Nepal at Lamrim monastery all this time.
Yes, Geshe.
Oh, very good. Wonderful.
Geshe, there was one other question?
There
was one other question, Geshe?
Out of time.
Okay.
And then I just joking.
Okay, the question is, many people, particularly in the West, say that you can get all the information that we call Dharma and don't need a living guru. How would you respond to that? Because they likely don't believe the scriptures.
Let's see how far they can get. let's just leave like that. How far they can, I say how far
Yes.
you can go into the spiritual path and how deep you can go into the spiritual path. So then based on that, then we'll discuss. But like that sounds like kind of harsh. I don't mean harsh, but like I'm just telling the truth. It doesn't mean harsh answer. So say there no need living guru.
Yes, that's in the question. Yeah.
Dr. Brown. Contribution, Dr. Brown. Because you are the one who started the Kadamba Center. That's your moral responsibility to answer. What do you say?
I yield to the guru, to Geshe.
Yeah, you can learn. You can probably like
No, I don't know. And I think in the real world, I just, like you said, most of us realize, I mean, we even saw this a lot during the pandemic where children were, had Zoom classes and they didn't have the same experiences when they were face to face with their teacher. So having a living teacher makes a difference just in ordinary education. Having access to a living teacher makes a big difference. I think also for me personally, my confidence in the teachings depend to a large extent on having a living example, somebody that inspires me. Then the teachings, I go, wow, they're teaching me this and they're extraordinary people. And it gives me some inspiration to want to practice that.
Yeah, so can you, Thomas, repeat that question again?
Donna? Anyway, the question was, I think Geshe was that a lot of people in the West don't think that you need a living teacher. You can get all this stuff out of books and you don't really need a living, breathing, qualified guru, that somehow you can achieve spiritual realizations and progress along the path without having anybody, just you and the book. And so, what we're talking about here is that you can make some progress with a book for sure, but to go the whole distance and really go deeply, it's greatly beneficial to have a living example of the teachings. Somebody that, I know Lama Zopa used to say, he said that without a living guru, the teachings are like eating crackers without any water. They're just dry. They don't have any moisture. But it's with the having a living exemplary being like a living guru really brings the teachings to life.
Okay, very good, wonderful, Dr. Brown. So now here, all the enlightenment, liberation, this we all talking about, this all boils down on how to take care of your mind, right? Do everybody agree? Mind without disturbing thought. It all boils down on that, right? Mind without life without disturbing thought. Yeah, in the West, people write a lot of books, lot of books. We have all kind of bookstores. People are reading probably compared to Asia, except monastery. Monastery do read because that's part of their education system. Part of that compared to Asia and in West, people read more in the West. Am I correct? There's more books been written in the West, so then now the happiness level is increasing or decreasing in the West? Does it increase more you read? Just learning mean nothing. Just learning mean nothing. You can learn. You can learn how to make pizza. You never make pizza. So you go to class and learn how to make pizza. Somebody asked, do you make pizza? No. How many classes you took? About 20 classes how to make pizza. Did you ever made one? No. Then there is no experience. So reading, there needs some inspiration. Somebody like living connection is very important. Living connections. Without living connections, there's not much inspiration. It's like reading, learning doesn't guarantee that you're going to be you'll be subdue your disturbing thought. It needs some kind of inspirations. So yeah, you can read. There's hundreds of thousands of books available. You can read all the books. And what's the result? You just become bank of informations. Then there's what we are talking is all about freeing ourselves from the disturbing thought, subdue, root out. So that need teachers. So I know, but you're also reading. So before you come to the center, probably you've been reading. So probably you've been reading since you're a teenager. The people in the West, everybody can read. So anyway, according to Lama Tsongkhapa about teaching, having a teacher is quite important. So I'm not going to ask you to agree with what Lama Tsongkhapa said. You have every right to analyze, and figure it out by yourself. So whether you need teacher or not is totally up to your decisions, okay? So my responsibility to just explain, not to force anyone to do this or do that. You have this marvelous brain, you can analyze, all right? Oh yeah, so sorry, now over 10 minutes, so thank you very much. So then Lamula will do Chukila or Lamula will do dedications. And thank you again for coming to the class.
Due to the merits of these virtuous actions, may I quickly attain the state of a Guru Buddha and lead all living beings without exception into that enlightened state. May the supreme jewel bodhicitta that has not arisen rise and grow, and may that which has arisen not diminish, but increase more and more. Just as the brave Manjushri and Samantabhadra too realize things as they are, we too dedicate all these merits in the best way that we may follow their perfect example. We dedicate all these roots of virtue with the dedication praises the best by the victorious ones as gone of 3 times so we might perform good works. We dedicate whatever virtues we have ever collected for the benefit of teachings and of all sentient beings, and in particular for the essential teachings of perfect pure Losang Drapa to shine forever. Now the short long life prayers. First for His Holiness the Dalai Lama. In the land encircled by snow mountains, you are the source of all happiness and good, all powerful Chen Reizig Tenzin Gyatso. Please remain until samsara ends. Then for Sarah J. Khyentse Rinpoche, Jitsen Losandel, the one who mastered his speech at a very young age, the one with great patience who received the name Avatare, the one with great precision who spread the teachings of Lama Tsongkhapa on bliss and void, Lama ornament of the yellow hat tradition. Please remain until samsara ends. For the long life, Lama Zompa Rinpoche. You uphold the subduer's moral way, who serve as the bountiful bearer of all, sustaining, preserving, and spreading Manjunath's victorious doctrine, who masterfully accomplished magnificent prayers honoring the 3 jewels, savior of myself and others, your disciples. Please live long, and of course for long, healthy, happy lives of Geshe Gelek and Geshe Sam. Om Tare Tu Re So Ha. 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 Om tare tu re soha.
Thank you again, and all the people who ask questions. Thank you very much. Because of your questions, it gives us opportunity to think. Thank you very much. I really mean it from my heart. Thank you very much. And ask next Wednesday many as questions as possible related to the textbook. Okay. Thank you very much, and you have a wonderful night. And see you next Wednesday. And
Thank you,
all
Geshe-la.
anybody on
Thank you,
YouTube,
Geshe-la.
Thank you,
Good night.
Geshe-la.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Thank you, Donna. Lamla. Tonya.
Thank you, Lamala. Thank you, Chukila. Thank you,
Chukila.
Donna. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Special
Good
good
night.
night for today,